In 1972, I wrote and recorded the Jethro Tull album Thick as a Brick. The lyrics were credited at the time to the fictitious child character Gerald Bostock. We then took the show on the road in the UK, USA and a few other countries, but since then, until 2012, the album was never performed in its entirety.
Fresh start, another day.
So 40 years on, I try to imagine what the now 50-year-old Gerald Bostock might be doing today, wondering what might have befallen him, where life might have taken him. On this follow-up album, Thick as a Brick 2, I ponder on the what-ifs, maybes and might-have-beens of Gerald's past, present and future. Much as I hate the intrusion of cameras and non-musicians into the studio recording environment, I agreed, just this once, to shoot a video where we will see something of the making of the album, the lyric reading, and some interviews with the musicians and engineers. We were looking for a drummer that would be capable of all sorts of things, from the gentle, sensitive touch of playing with orchestras and string quartets through to full-blown rock stuff. And Scott comes from a jazz background, but does have a pretty good awareness of rock music and many different music forms, so he's been able to stretch out technically as well as in terms of volume and power on this album, and I hope he's enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying his playing. I was checking out some of the more contemporary progressive rock bands and their various subgenres, and I came across Porcupine Tree, which sounded pretty good, and heard about Stephen Wilson doing some remixing of early King Crimson material, and word seemed to have got to me from somebody that maybe he might be interested in doing a remix of Tull stuff, so I asked EMI to approach him to do potentially the remixes of Aqualung, and then subsequently of Thick as a Brick 1, at which point Thick as a Brick 2 was on the horizon, so I thought he might as well do that as well, and luckily he agreed.
Well, it's psychedelic, isn't it?
Does the backward guitar, does it move around?
Yes.
Or you were panning it a bit?
Yeah, it's kind of moving around.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't normally like to do things like that because they're a bit gimmicky, but that sounds just crying out.
But it's a
for it.
retro thing.
It's a
the
psychedelic
whole point
thing,
was to revisit that
Yeah.
kind of hippie thing.
Exactly,
but,
and I picked up on that, and I think there's one Hammond swirl which kind of goes around the room as well that starts one of the sections. I forget which one it is now.
How are you on that one for bass?
I think we need to look at the triplet at the end. Ding, ding, ding,
Well, that's just what I was mentioning to John, because I think he's a little in front of that, so we should probably fix that.
It's not working with the drums, but the previous take might work.
Yeah. Can we just mute the keyboards at that triplet?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of trouble with that.
Take away, take away.
Scott's had a refusal.
Who's they?
Well, normally we would expect, the rhythm section, the drums and bass. These are the guys who ought to be able to do rhythmic kind of talking.
Right.
Take it.
It was slightly spoofed kind of Indian drum talk stuff. So it was takita dum.
Ready?
I was the other way around. I've got takeaway on the mind now. Here it comes. Takite.
Explosive, which is sort of, so I'm told, more or less legitimate for that kind of rhythm.
I tried, John, sorry.
No, I don't know if I'll be able to.
He nearly got it, but he farted. But then when we came to throw in the repeat, I said, wait a minute, instead of doing that again, let's do something else. Let's go tick away.
Level, please, John.
Takita.
You see, well, they all thought, take away, what's that? And I said, take away. Indian take away. Oh, right, we get it.
Takita dum. Explosive. Takita dum.
Not yes, and this is good too. This is good. So when it came to do it, they just completely, I mean, it took about, 6 takes. Well, I don't mind if you want to go takita, if you want to just say takita
dum.
It's easy.
Takita dum.
Okay, well that's good.
But you do yours and I'll do mine, see how it works.
Alright, yeah. Mainly because actually doing takita dum to make it explosive and punchy.
Takita dum. And again, please. For me.
Yeah, me too.
Some people can do that, and Scott, our drummer, just well, his lips turned to jello, and
Right.
what came out was
Takita, takita, dum. And again for me.
it was so anyway. We had a little fun with that, but they nailed it. Which is a sort of Indian idea. That little bit of music survives from the Anushka Shankar experience,
Oh, right, okay.
And so it was a unison passage, and I was really careful to try and write something that was playable on the sitar. And of course, not only was it playable on the sitar, but she sat down and went with the rest of us are like struggling in her wake to keep up.
So did you record that version too?
No, we never recorded it.
That's a
And
shame.
in fact, Anushka was around the very week that we were doing this,
Right.
but just starting her UK tour
Okay.
with a band that was more kind of flamenco oriented, not quite as authentic Indian, but I toyed with the idea of trying to grab a couple of hours of her time to come and play something, but I know the one time you don't want to do that stuff is when you've got your head down, you're in a tour, and she's got a baby a few months old.
Hands path taken, page unturned.
Florian and I have been together since he was tender 19 or 20 years old, and was originally playing acoustic guitar. I didn't quite twig until a little later. He was actually a fairly strong and powerful electric guitar player. So we've worked together on acoustic shows, orchestral shows, and rock shows. And now, for the first time, he's doing a major recording job and let off the leash with that Gibson Les Paul to do some big, powerful guitar playing. And powerful and big it is. I first met John when he was an accordion player, and signed him up to do a bit of work on an album, and then discovered he was also an orchestrator, and he could conduct symphony orchestras and work with me on those projects. But one of his great loves now is playing Hammond organ, which he's had the chance to do with Jethro Tull, and now he has his new baby, which appears on this album, and he's besotted with, because it sounds just like the real thing, because it is the real thing. David Goodyear is a stand-up bass player in a jazz group in the West Country. His great strength really is that he's a great thinker about what he plays, and I don't really have to tell Dave what to play. He's just instinctively good at picking up the groove and knowing just how much embellishment and creativity he can insert without incurring my wrath.
Just try to do the ra at that last note. Bum, 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 bum. And then you can let everybody have a natural decay, but Florian has got a long feedback note at the end, which goes on, for a good sort of 5, 6 seconds, which will be an overdub. Okay.
Yeah, yes, I remember.
Because he likes to feed himself back. Big, long feedback here. And then it's resetting tempo, separate take, but for...
The main thing that sticks in my mind after wrapping up all the Thick as a Brick 2 sessions was what a lot of fun it turned out to be. I mean, the writing process was relatively quick, and a long time elapsed between writing the album and sketching out the arrangements and doing all that stuff that happened back in February, March of 2011. There was a big gap before we started rehearsing and recording in November, December of 2011, and it seemed like you'd left all of this on ice, but it was actually on a gentle simmer all the way through, and we did manage to play some of the music live on stage during various tours in 2011, so we did get to try a few of these things out. Now, of course, it's looking back on something that's already a bit of a memory, but as always, ahead of us are a lot of concert tours, and I'm sure a lot of this music will feature as part of the repertoire for years to come, just in the same way as Thick as a Brick 1 has its part in most of the shows that I play.